Hello and welcome to Video Revealed. I'm Colin Smith and this is your place for professional video production techniques. Oh, the subject of this reveal is something pretty cool: camera lens blur in Adobe After Effects. All right, this is one of my favorite effects for just creating a different look or trying to accurately portray a camera when it's blurring. It does things that Gaussian blur doesn't do. Let's go take a look. So here I've got some footage and I'll go over and add a simple fast blur, because a lot of people will use a Gaussian blur or a fast blur. If they wanted to make this scene look like the camera's out of focus, you use a Gaussian blur. That is not what a camera looks like. It's great in a pinch and you might have used this and you can get away with it, but watch the difference of camera lens blur. So let's get rid of that guy and search for camera lens blur. There we go. Drop that on, and initially it looks the same, but watch what happens over on the effects when I start to change the blur radius. Oh yeah. Look at those little coins of light, bokeh, as it's called, and you know, you can probably pronounce that 3 or 4 different ways. But it's these little coins of light that are showing up inside here. That's why camera lens blur works. It actually started in Photoshop, has the same kind of thing for still images, but this is for video. So if I actually play this video, it's going to stay with this camera lens blur. And there's a few settings that we can change in here. One of the most interesting is the shape. We can go to a triangle shape. And the shape, essentially, by default, it's emulating the iris in a camera. So as you open up that iris, that little shape is what you see inside there. And sometimes you can turn the roundness all the way up to 100%, so it just looks perfectly round, and that's, you know, totally legitimate. There's no right or wrong in the shape, but it is kind of cool. Now you can use a blur map in here to not blur or blur in a specific area. I'm going to use a mask in another example. There's another setting down here for the overall gain. So if we start to turn that up, you'll start to see that the brights will get brighter. And if I turn the threshold down, you can see I'm actually blowing that out. So you don't want to push that too far. And then you can change the overall saturation level of that white area too. And notice it'll get cut off down to the bottom. If I turn on right in there, I'm turning on repeat pixel edges, it's going to blur out to the edge. So I could add a couple of keyframes in here. I'm not going to do this because it's just going to take so long to render this out in this short demo, but I could come all the way over here to this area here, and then I could unblur the camera. So it's as if I'm pulling in a focus from there to there. Pretty cool, natural, real looking effect. I chose a night shot here with a lot of bright lights so you can see that bokeh showing up. If this is a very neutral scene with not a lot of highlights, you can drag that as much as you want and introduce it. If there's nothing bright to give you that pop, you won't see it. Okay, here's another example. There's some distracting stuff in the background here, and I want to create a fake depth of field. Now, I'm going to do this very simply, but I'm not following the real camera law of physics. I'm faking what this is doing, just to give you an idea of how you can fix a shot like this. Okay, so same as before, camera lens blur, drag this in, turn that up just a little bit. But of course it's blurring everything out, and I could use a blur map, which could be another image, but I'm going to use a mask. And to use a mask in After Effects, you make sure you have your footage selected, so that layer is selected. Grab my pen tool. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I just used my scroll wheel there. And I'll just do a loose mask over top of this area in here. Make sure I go all the way out to the outside. That's why I zoomed out, so I could draw outside of that area. Shift/, gets me back in. And the mask is actually hiding everything. So if we open up and turn this from add to none, I still have the mask, but it's not doing anything. Here's the magic, and this is in camera lens blur, compositing option. So if I click on the plus and choose mask 1 and now go back to my mask and change it from none to add, you can see I'm just blurring in that edge right there. It looks good over here. The problem is I have a sharp edge. No problem. Just go to my mask. So open up that mask and I have a mask feather option. As I drag that out, you'll see that I can feather my mask quite a bit in here. And now you can't see that as much. Now I'm really blurring that in here just so you can see. But if I turn that down just a little bit and pop it over there, now you're going to see that. And by the way, when I move my camera, I'm going to have to track that mask. But we have a cool effect in here where he's in focus and this is slightly out of focus. If I wanted to, I could actually draw another mask over here and blur the front area inside here. So Gaussian blur, fast blur, they can work to fake a camera blur, but if you want to have a real accurate camera lens blur, then use camera lens blur in Adobe After Effects. Well, hopefully you found this informative and cool, because I do. Then please click on the subscribe button for Video Revealed. If you're not already an Adobe Creative Cloud user, then get on over to adobe.com and download your free 30-day trial. Till next time, I'm Colin Smith, and it's my job to get you looking your best.